show him my buttocks. That made me uncomfortable. He asked if I wanted to go back to the apartment to further talk about the arrangement and stuff like that, and I agreed to that. At the apartment, he had showed me he had, like, drugs in one of the drawers.
What kind of drugs?
Weed and ecstasy. And then he asked if I could kiss him, and that made me uncomfortable. He asked if I could show him my buttocks. That made me uncomfortable.
You rented a room, allegedly, from the defendant. You never moved in. And there are reasons that you say you never moved in. And you want your money back, actually, for your rent and whatever deposit you made. The rest of it is for misrepresentation and harassment, a whole bunch of stuff. Tell me when you rented this room from him and how you found it.
So in October of 2023, I was looking for another apartment because my lease was coming to an end. So I came across this ad on Craigslist.
May I see it, please?
And it was a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom apartment.
Hold on. Did you place this ad, sir?
Yes, I did.
This says, female student looking for a female roommate.
My ex-girlfriend, when I had her at my place, she didn't want a guy roommate, so she posted the ad when she was there.
Well, that's misrepresenting what was there. You were living in the apartment?
I was there. Okay.
Were you living in the apartment?
Yes.
So this is a misrepresentation of what was supposed to be a female roommate. So you went and you met him?
Correct.
Who did you think he was?
He said that he was the landlord, according to this lease agreement, and that's how he represented himself going
When you
forward.
went to look at, did you look in the closets?
No, he said that the woman living there was his girlfriend and that he would have to give me the tour because she's not there.
Oh, so he gave you a whole excuse.
Right.
Okay. Can I see the lease, please? Thank you. Okay, so you're the one who signed this thing as the landlord.
Right.
Another misrepresentation. You were not the landlord. Let me understand this. You had been living there with your girlfriend.
Correct.
You had a fight with her.
Yes, we did.
And she left. Did she leave to go home to her parents? Or did she go someplace else?
She went home for a little bit.
How long did she stay at her parents'?
She was there for like 2 weeks.
Does your girlfriend work? It's not an answer.
No, I mean,
Does
I
your
don't know what she's
girlfriend
doing
work?
right now. She's my ex, but at the moment, she wasn't working.
Who was supporting her?
Her parents and me.
Oh, just a second. Her parents and you. And what was the rent on the apartment?
$24.80.
$24.80. And how much of the $24.80 were her parents paying?
Nothing.
Nothing. So you were paying the entire rent.
Exactly.
What was she paying?
She wasn't paying anything. She was just living with me.
And you were covering all the expenses?
Yes.
Well, then why did you want some stranger moving into the apartment? Do you understand where I'm going? It doesn't make sense to me, sir. If you were paying for all the expenses and your girlfriend, because you had an argument, moved out, why you would want somebody else in there to pay rent when you had been paying it all yourself?
Because my business was slow at the time, and I needed someone else to take the room.
There you go.
Right.
So you needed money.
Right.
Now, is she still your girlfriend?
No.
But she moved back in again after she was, well, when she was going to move in, she saw your girlfriend there and you there. And I assume that when you saw them there, they weren't in the kitchen. Where were they? In what room?
Oh, are you asking if I saw him and his girlfriend?
Yes.
I had never met the girlfriend.
Was there any reason that you thought that he had a girlfriend who was moving back into the apartment?
We had talked over WhatsApp, and he explained that they had a rough patch that they were going through, but that she was coming back, and that, you know, when I had moved there, that she would be there, and that he would introduce me to her.
Okay. So on what day were you supposed to move in?
I was supposed to move in November 9th.
And what was the rent you agreed on? I could read it here, but you can tell me.
It says $1,300, but he said it was $1,400.
Okay. Was the rent $1,300 or $1,400?
13 plus 100 for utilities.
So the entire thing together, she was supposed to give you $1,400.
Yes, correct.
So tell me what happened that made you uncomfortable. You gave him the money, you were moving your things in. Tell me what happened.
So he asked me to come over for a tour that night, which I went over to see what it was like. And then I really liked the place. I mean, the amenities for that price in San Diego, it's a pretty good deal. And so he asked, you know, if you want it, it's yours. You know, I've had a lot of other applicants apply for this, but I like your energy the most, and I'd feel comfortable having you move in, you know.
But what difference it make? He's the landlord.
Right. So I was just really excited to be living there, and that I was the one he chose to live there out of his other applicants that he said he had. And so during the tour, he showed me just the main common areas, the common room areas, and then my room, my bathroom. And then he asked if I wanted to go out later that night, that his friend would be there to kind of like celebrate me moving in, as well as talk about, you know, more about the rental and what my other roommate was like. Because I asked him, you know, what is she like? What does she do? How old is she? I wanted, you know, information on her. And he said, oh, you would love her. She's very sweet. So I trusted that. And
I don't know why.
Yeah. So later on, we met at Nolita Hall, and we had like a couple drinks. His friend didn't show up, so it ended up just being him and I there. And then he asked if I wanted to go back to the apartment to further talk about the arrangement and stuff like that. And I agreed to that. At the apartment, he had showed me he had like drugs in one of the drawers. Like
What kind of drugs?
weed and ecstasy. And then he asked if I could kiss him, and that made me uncomfortable. He asked if I could show him my buttocks. That made me uncomfortable. And so the next morning, I told him.
What do you mean the next morning? I went from the evening coming in from drinks to the next morning. What happened at night?
It was basically playing music videos and then discussing the move-in, when I would be moving
Well, that's
in,
a long discussion.
living
So you
there.
spent the whole night there?
No, what ended up happening is I stayed a couple hours because I had a few drinks at Lolita Hall, and I didn't want to drive home with those drinks in my system. So
Okay.
I waited a couple hours, and then I left. This would have been about 1:30
Okay.
or 2.
Then what happened?
Then the next morning, I remember messaging him. He was like, how are you feeling? And he apologized. I have that in text as well, if you want to see that.
I would.
I have that chat communication. He said it was a blur and that it wouldn't happen again. And 1 second.
Okay, you remember writing to her? What happened last night was just a big blur. I'm sober 99% of the time. I'd never bother you or make you feel uncomfortable. I apologize for that 1,000,000 times.
Yes, Your Honor. Look, so everything she did was consensual. She was showing me her music videos that she was filming in Maryland. And then she's like, oh my God, like, I
What
lost.
did you apologize for?
I'll get to that. So
Well, no, get to that now.
but when she moved in, I told her that we were not gonna engage in any activities like that, like after she moved in. So we were intoxicated. She willingly took everything that she took that night. She drank willingly. And it was also her idea to come back to my place to end the night. And she actually did spend the night there. That's a lie. She did not leave until the morning. She was there all night long. And she even called her mom next to me. She was all jolly, happy, on drugs, and she was having a good time. And then she showed me her music videos that she filmed in Maryland. And she said, look, I lost so much weight. I used to have better attributes. And I'm like, you still look great. She goes, look, I'll show you. She got up and like, she showed me her body. And I was like, oh, that's nice. I was like, it's okay, whatever. And she sat back down. And we just spent the rest of the night and nothing happened.
What did you apologize for? You said, I apologize for that 1,000,000 times.
Because I said that it's not appropriate if you're gonna live with me and my girlfriend's gonna be around. What we did was not appropriate. It will never happen again. She said, I appreciate you saying that to me. I feel more comfortable now. So that's what happened.
She says to you, as long as we can keep things cordial and on friends' terms, I'm happy to move in. Just didn't want you to go into something where there were any expectations of me. And you respond, I can't express how grateful I am to have you move in as a roommate. What happened last night was just a big blur. I'm sober 99% of the time. I'd never bother you or make you feel uncomfortable. I apologize for that 1,000,000 times.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. And she never moved in.
No, but that wasn't the reason why she never moved in. I don't think so.
Okay. Well, why don't you tell me why you think she didn't move in?
Your Honor, I cannot answer that. She's the only one.
No. You said
who
I
can
don't think
answer
that that's the reason.
I'm not sure. She did move in for one day, and then she moved out the next day.
Just a minute. You mean the night she stayed over when you went?
November 13th, she came in, and me and my girlfriend, ex-girlfriend, were being intimate in the room. And I thought that, oh my
well,
God,
that's
maybe she
just
heard.
a second.
Right.
Just a second. That's
Okay.
what I asked her before.
Right.
When I facetiously said, were they in the kitchen?
Your Honor, she didn't want to meet her. We knocked at her door. She said, not right now.
cares
She didn't
whether-
even come out. So my ex
cares?
was like, is she that rude? I'm like, she's actually a nice girl.
You have to understand something, sir.
Yes.
Your ad misrepresented what you were selling. Your ad represented that she was moving in with a female roommate, not you and your girlfriend, just the girlfriend. That's a material misrepresentation of what you were selling. Now, did you take her money?
Your Honor, yes, but
Yes,
she was extremely happy.
You have to give it back. You misrepresented to the buyer what she was buying. She was buying a one-room and a bathroom in a lovely two-bedroom apartment with a female student roommate. And what she was getting were you and your girlfriend and her. That's what she was getting.
Your Honor, she got me evicted. She went to the leasing
Good.
office and
Great. Now, how much did you pay him?
In total, $1,603.
$1,603 is exactly what you get back. Judgment for the plaintiff. We're finished. Thank you very much.
I think she was after money or she was after this. I don't know. Maybe she had this whole thing planned out.
Be extremely careful. I mean, when you see an ad like that, female occupant looking for another female roommate, make sure you meet her.
I did not take advantage of her.
I mean, that was my error, but I had no reason. I went into trusting about it. I would just be very cautious because those scams do exist.
This case of misrepresentation, I think we've seen thus far. Easy. She had the original ad that she saw that enticed her to then go and meet with the landlord. And clearly he was not a young female student. And so that's a pretty material part of why she was looking at that particular apartment. And I think you made the right call. You gave her back exactly what she paid him, and I think that's what she's entitled to based on the misrepresentation that he did.
It made it easy because it was in writing.
Yeah.
Because you can understand somebody moving in with a female, even sight unseen, female student, and she met him, and certainly he looks reasonable. So, and it was explained who it was. It was his girlfriend.
Yeah.
Didn't realize that they were a couple moving in. That's a whole different thing. So
Signing up for something different.
Right. Yeah, you're absolutely right. It was an easy call.
All right, this case right here, this isn't just a bad roommate situation. This is straight up misrepresentation turning into a creepy, uncomfortable setup. So let's break it down. You've got a young woman looking for a place to stay. She finds an ad online that clearly says, female student looking for a female roommate. Simple, safe, straightforward. That's exactly the type of place she was looking for. But the moment you dig deeper, you realize the whole ad was basically a lie. Because when she shows up, there's no female roommate running the place. It's a guy, living there, pretending to be the landlord, pretending it's a female-only situation. And right there, that's already a red flag. No, actually, that's not even a red flag anymore. That's the whole alarm system going off. But she doesn't know that yet. She goes for the tour. The place looks good, price is good, and he hits her with that classic line, I like your energy, I choose you over other applicants. Come on, that's not a landlord talking, that's manipulation. Then it escalates. He invites her out for drinks, says his friend will be there. The friend never shows up, now it's just him and her. And I'm already thinking, this is not about renting anymore. Then he convinces her to go back to the apartment. And that's where things get weird. He starts showing her drugs, then asks her to kiss him, then asks her to show her body. And I'm like, what does any of this have to do with renting a room? This is the part where the whole situation becomes clear. This was never just about a roommate. This was a setup built on lies, with blurred boundaries from the start. Now his defense? Oh, everything was consensual. Really? Then why are you apologizing the next morning? Why are you texting? I'm sorry. It was a blur. It won't happen again, because deep down, you know it crossed a line. And here's the key part. Even if nothing physical fully happened, the environment itself was wrong. The expectation was wrong. The situation was misleading from the start. Then comes the biggest issue. She paid him money. Deposit, rent, over fund 600. And when she realizes what she actually signed up for, she backs out. And the guy tries to keep the money. That's where the judge steps in. And honestly, this was one of the easiest rulings ever, because the judge didn't even need to go deep into the drama. She focused on one thing. The ad was false. The living situation was misrepresented. What was promised is not what was delivered. That's it. Case closed. Full refund. Pedan 603 back to the plaintiff. And I completely agree with that decision, because at the end of the day, if you lie about what you're offering, you don't get to keep the money. Simple. This whole case is a lesson in two things. First, if something feels off early, it usually is. Second, when you're dealing with strangers, especially online, you don't just trust words. You verify everything, because one wrong decision, and you end up in a situation like this. If you want more real courtroom breakdowns like this, make sure you support the channel by liking, subscribing, and staying tuned.